Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Hopefully.
so I think the second topic we had was how to prepare for the off season. We kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah. We kind of touched on that one a little bit.
Um,
Yeah. I think just studying, learning. Yeah. We're learning where you can improve. Come to
right.
mind. Right.
Finding
Yeah.
resources, finding a
Yeah.
mentor. If you want to become good at something, I think we live in a day, an age of, if you want to learn something, you can. Like, I can take a physics
Right.
class at
That's right.
Harvard if I want to,
That's
and
right.
go
Yeah.
online and watch it and do the material, and might
Mhm.
not get a grade, but I can learn it. I think it's
Right.
similar to youth coaches. It's like, how much time do you want to put into it is what you're going to get out of it, both for
Yeah.
your kids and the other kids and you. And, um, it's not the end all, but I think it's like, if you want to become better at it, you're going to have to put the time in, especially at the
That's
youth level. And and to be honest with you, talking about winning, you'll win more if you do that.
that's right. Do you know any place where they could go to learn stuff? That's
Oh, I do.
new.
You go to
Are you?
teachhoops.com for coaches who want to
Yeah.
get better.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a
I'm,
cheap
oh, that's
plug.
exciting. I'll have
I
to look that
wasn't
one
even
up.
I wasn't even gonna do that, but anyway. No, but
Perfect
I'm just
segue.
saying, I think that's, again, you can find a dad that maybe he's coached before, or a former
Yeah.
high school coach, or there's people in your area that will help you. People always want to help. If you ask
Yeah.
nicely, the younger you are, the more willing they are to help you. But they're definitely willing to help you. I don't think that's an issue.
No. No. Exactly. I love talking to other coaches and right
I
as
know.
well. It's just it's rewarding. So
I know.
because I know they're helping kids, right? And that's what I'm all about. I want to help the kids.
Right.
1
I mean,
million in 10 years.
1 million in 10 years.
Positively
Are
affect 1
you
million lives.
in? Are we a year in yet?
April almost, right?
Has it been a year, or has it been more than a year that we've been doing this
No,
podcast?
April is when. Well, this is April when we launched the first podcast. We got to talk about what we're going to do for the 1 year anniversary.
We'll have to do something. Was it really
Absolutely.
April of last year?
April of last year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you believe that? I can't believe that.
Well,
That's
we're on
crazy.
we're in the almost the 50s. I know. Yeah, April 13th.
Yeah, it's April. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't fall on a Friday. Well, we'll have to do something
Yeah.
special for the 1 year anniversary. Yeah, we'll have to do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So the next one was you had
Yeah.
the top 10 list, right? Your top 10 list.
Yeah. Top of building a successful youth team. Yeah.
What do you think?
What does it take to do a successful youth team? Oh, you know what's happening right now? Talk about real time. My dog's getting excited here in the background. I'm going to have to go let her out.
Let her out. That's okay. So trust me, this happens on a regular basis on our podcast. So top 10, it does. Top 10 things. So I think the biggest thing is participation.
What do you mean?
Well, the kids they're feeling, especially at the younger age, is that, if you're trying to build either a program or a team, that kids feel like they're an integral part of that system. And at the youth, like I've always said, you don't want to be this kid's last coach ever.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a good youth coach, you let them be the ones that decide to stop playing, but you should not be the one. I think a successful one is they all had it, especially if you're dealing with fourth graders, they should all have a fun, successful feeling about it when they leave. That could be 1, 2, 3, 4 on my list, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So participation, fun. I would, a lot of youth coaches I talk to, it's hard too, because they have 1, maybe 2 practices a week, from 1 hour to an hour and a half. And, as there's a lot to fit in a game and teach. So I think with that said is come in prepared, knowing that you can't teach everything in the limited amount of time that you do have. But what do you believe in? Your top 3 things, focus there, and, create that list that we're going to be really good at X. We're going to be okay at Y, and we're not going to get to Z. Right. And I think if you come in structured, and, you plan out your first, month of practices, I think that will go a long way. And then you can make tweaks based on, obviously you don't know what your team is going to look like in the fall and who's going to show up, and a lot of these are draft type things, so or they just get automatically selected. Then you can make tweaks, but fundamentals and just being prepared, I think you will see just success on that, because a lot of coaches aren't. They just like, oh my gosh, I got practice tonight. You always talk about this. Got practice tonight at 5 o'clock, and I get done with work at 4, and I'm scrambling what I'm going to do, and you end up playing knockout for an hour and a half.
Well, here's the thing. So for someone that's taught for 35 years, I never walk
Yeah.
into class without a plan. I
Yeah.
never walk into class without a plan. Like now,
Sure.
Monday's going to be an interesting day when I land in Milwaukee at 1 and I have to teach at 8. So, but I have a plan. I already have a plan ready to go for Monday morning. I know what I'm going to do. How effectively I do it's going to be a different story, but I know what I'm going to do on Monday. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's the same with this. It's like otherwise, you're going to come in and do layup lines. You're going to do something silly.
Right.
You have to have a plan about twice a week. Okay, when am I going to work on my offense? Am I going to have my defense in? What skills do they need to work on? That's the bigger issue. If you're a fourth grade girls coach in Nebraska, great. But they probably need to work on their ball handling. They probably need to work on their, passing more than the Princeton offense. So I think that's the bigger issue is like, what are you specifically working on, and do you have it mapped out over a specific amount of time?
Yeah. And don't boil the ocean, right? Yeah, I think we get a lot.
Oh my God, I don't think I've ever heard that expression. What is boil the ocean?
Well, just trying to do too much, right?
I've never heard that expression.
Yeah, and there is a lot, right? But your fourth grade, fifth grade, team, you don't have enough time, right? There's just not enough time in practice, and so focus on a few things and do those really well. Did you just Google that?
I did not Google that. I'm going to be totally honest for the people that are listening to the podcast. 100% did not Google boiling the ocean. I'm going to be honest because I always tell my players to be honest. I Googled the second game I have in my parlay along with the bet that I have in. It's the Hartford Chicago State Cougars score. It's 0-0 a minute in. So I'm not too worried about it. Again, I'm in Vegas. When you're in Vegas, if you're not gambling, on vacation, it's like, anyway.
So what's the play?
What's the play? That's the play.
Yeah.
Well, you and I will sit in the sports book and map out the entire year of coaching youth hoops. How long a drive would it be from you to here? 5 hours?
No, a little bit longer. I don't remember. We drove it one time. It might be 6.
I think it's 6 to LA from here, isn't it? 5 or 6 from
LA.
LA.
We're about the same because Vegas is kind of in the middle where I am.
Shoot, you could drive. You'll drive down then. You don't even fly.
No, I would probably fly.
It'd be cheap. It'd be a cheap flight.
It's cheap. Oh yeah, it's cheap to get to Vegas from Oakland, right? Actually, I'm going to look it up. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. I will Google that. I'm curious.
You're Googling it. No. So as he's Googling that, I'm going to keep talking about.
You get there by 6.
What?
I'm kidding. I have no idea.
I bet it's a couple $100 though, huh? Maybe less than that. But
yeah, it depends on what you're.
What time of the time. So I think developing a successful youth team is kind of, again, I think it's what is success to you?
That's right. Define success. That's probably one of the first things, right? It's not wins and losses.
It's not, and I guarantee for a lot of people either listening to this podcast or that I've seen on Saturdays at a shootout, sometimes it is, and I don't think it should be. I agree with you. But I think you have to define what success is. And like I said, I think one of the things is just that success from year to year, like making sure that they come out the following year. The number of girls that we lose to basketball, to lose to volleyball, lose to soccer, lose to these things is because
it's huge.
It's huge because it wasn't successful. It wasn't fun. It wasn't they were learning. There wasn't a community in which they were building. I think that's the issue.
Well, and if you look at all the surveys out there, as coaches, we think, fun equals wins. But all the surveys that the kids do and fill out, wins is not in the top 5.
Right.
It's
And I'll
spending
tell you,
time with friends.
I went to a clinic before once, and they asked the coach, they asked
Mhm.
the coaches, write down the coach that influenced you the most and why. They had them do
Mhm.
every coach in this clinic had to do that. And you wrote it down. And then they called on a bunch of them, and I wrote down a coach, and then I wrote down why. And he goes, I bet it's how that coach made you feel, and I
Yep.
bet it had nothing to do with X's and O's was your why. And
Yep.
nobody said, they taught me the flex offense well, or they taught me how to play man-to-man
Yep.
defense well. No, it's like my high school coach kind of got me the love of this game. That was what he
Yeah.
did. It's like, do I remember what we ran? Kinda, but it wasn't. It was that I wanted to please him. That he taught me that I love the game. It's the same thing with these kids when
Yeah.
if they filled out a survey. That's what they should put on that survey. It's how you made them feel, and did you give them a love for the game? Not that you have the greatest out of bounds play that's going to score on a Tuesday in some tournament somewhere. Who cares?
Yeah.
Um, I think that's for me. That's a successful team. We can
Yeah.
go
I
through
totally, it's hard. It is hard as a coach when you're,
competitive.
13-0 is really exciting versus 0-13. Um, uh, but at the same time, like you said, did those kids come back? Are they having fun? Are they connecting with their friends on that team? Did you teach them life lessons in both of those situations, 13-0 and 0-13, right? I think that's the message we're missing too with sports is why are we doing it in the first place? It's it's an extension of the classroom, and we have to help kids draw those conclusions of, what if, winning with respect, right? Playing with respect, what does that mean? And then losing with grace, right?
Right.
um, and what hard work means and sacrifice, and yeah, I'd rather go to that birthday party, but I made a commitment to my team, right, to be
Yeah.
there and play.
And that's
So
and it's hard. We've had this discussion. It's hard on the
yeah,
players because sometimes they want to be there and they don't have the choice. Like
exactly,
I
yeah,
always feel like my
right.
juniors and seniors have some choices. Not always, but for the most part. But
They can make a better argument than a fifth grader can
yeah, the
to
fifth
not
grader
go
can't jump in the
to.
car and drive themselves to practice.
That's
Uh,
right. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like mom doesn't want to get on the car on a Tuesday in February to take you to practice. What's the kid going to do? So that's a little bit more empathy, a little bit more understanding from the youth coaches. Yes, you want them there, but sometimes we don't have that control. Um,
yeah.
All right.
That's right.
Anything else you think for making a successful, I'm holding up air quotes, a successful
Successful, yeah. I
youth
just think
team?
again, I would end with this: it's just love on the kids, right? Just love on the kids. Let them know they're going to respect you when you respect them, and let them know it's not about. You don't even have to say it that the wins and losses, but show them that you care, and you'll have a successful season. That's just
Yes,
my 2 cents.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that's 100% it.